Episode 16, Trev's Hockey Show. I'm the Trev. You know that. If you're tuning in, if you're watching, it's too sweet. Anyway, for episode 16, and if you finished watching episode 15 and you're tuning into this one, you knew this one was coming. I'm dipping back into the retired numbers segment. There's a lot of retired numbers, and I really want to make more content, so this is the best way to do it. You might call it filler. I call it a video. And much like the number retirement video I did for Vegas, this is not an actual player. This is actually the only number hanging up in Minnesota's rafters at the Xcel Energy Center, the number 1. It's a bit of a backstory. Yeah, I know a lot of my videos have a lot of backstory, but that's okay. It's all relative to the final part of the product. Minnesota used to be home to the Minnesota North Stars, who played at the Met Center from 1967 to 1993. On March 10th, 93, Norm Green, who is public enemy number 1 in Minnesota and was the majority owner of the team at the time, announced his intentions to relocate the team to Dallas, Texas. This is where we have the Dallas Stars. If you're unaware of that, if I just gave you a bit of hockey knowledge, glad you learned. To quell the controversial decision, the NHL promised the Minneapolis-St. Paul region would be granted an NHL expansion franchise at a later date. After the relocation of the North Stars, there were efforts to buy the original Winnipeg Jets, which we now know as the Arizona Coyotes, with the intention to relocate them to Minnesota, to Minneapolis-St. Paul region, but negotiations fell through, like they often do with things like this. And again, the Jets instead relocated to Phoenix and became the Phoenix Coyotes, who are now the Arizona Coyotes. Again, hockey knowledge. June 25th, 1997. Gary Bettman and the NHL announced its intentions to expand from 26 teams to 30 teams in time for the 2000-2001 season. And Minneapolis-St. Paul was one of the 2 teams that were announced for the 2000-2001 season. The other one, of course, being Columbus. So yes, Minnesota-Columbus expansion cousins. And the way that was going to work was Nashville would come in 98, Atlanta would come in 99, Minnesota, Columbus in 2000. On January 22nd, 98, the team name was announced from a Pick the Name contest. And I mean, there was different options they had. I mean, Wild obviously won, but they had the Freeze, they had the Blue Ox, all kinds of different names. And thankfully the Wild won, because despite what my wife thinks, their logo is amazing. Just saying. October 11th, 2000, the Minnesota Wild played their first home game since 1993. And they played to a 3-3 tie against the Philadelphia Flyers. Before the game, pre-game ceremonies, all that stuff, introducing the club, a banner was raised which read Wild Fans with the number 1 underneath it. And it was retired in honor of the fans who brought NHL hockey back to the state of Minnesota. Classy. I mean, obviously for an area that should have never lost a hockey team in the first place. I mean, a lot of people say, well, they're doing just fine in Dallas. Yeah, that's true. But Minnesota should have never lost a team. I mean, it didn't always have to be that way, but, for whatever reason, you might want to talk to Norm Green. And that is the story behind the Minnesota Wild and the number 1. So that was episode 16, Trev's Hockey Show. And I want to thank you for tuning in. Your viewership always means so much to me. Always has, always will. I do appreciate every time you guys tune in. It just makes me want to make these more. So the more you guys watch, the more I'm willing to make. It's fair, right? All about fair. But if you like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you really want, there's a subscribe button. Pretty sure it's this corner. Slam that thing. Stay up to date with all the content that I'm going to be putting out. If you want to, you can find Trev's Trade page on Facebook at Trev's Trade page. You can also find the parent channel on Facebook at Trev's TV. You can find Trev TV on Instagram at Rockstar Trev TV. And if you want to help my other two channels, much like this channel, hit the 50 sub mark. Here's what you're looking for. So moving forward, I got a trade page video coming up at the end of the month. I'm going to buckle down and start working on my division predictions, which I plan to release before the regular season starts. So probably mid-September. September 13th, I'm going to have another jersey reaction, unless one pops up sooner. But said jersey reaction will be of the Winnipeg Jets Heritage Classic jersey, which they announced they will be releasing or showing off that date. So there's that. But again, if any more new jerseys, third jerseys pop up, more special event jerseys pop up, I'll be getting to them too. But yeah, and there's mine and Melissa's hockey pool video coming next month as well. So be on the lookout for that one. But in the meantime, and in between time, be on the lookout for more videos from the Trev. Later.